perfect right here. I think there's another one in the first paragraph. Well, in the introduction, let's say, okay? Which one would it be?
It had changed.
Exactly, okay, it had changed, that's the one, okay, good. In paragraph 1, which other examples with past perfect did you find?
Had agreed.
Had agreed, very good.
And have disappeared.
Another had agreed here and had disappeared, excellent, okay. In paragraph 2?
Had died.
Okay, had died. Another one before had died?
Many ships had sunk.
Had sunk, good. In how many more did you find in paragraph 3?
Had perhaps.
Okay, had perhaps done something. Okay, but perhaps is not the verb. Okay, so let me see where you got this one. Had perhaps.
Had
Had
disappeared.
disappeared.
Yeah, well, had disappeared. Is one. And another one,
Had perhaps.
had belonged. Okay, that perhaps is like maybe. Had maybe belonged.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's with belonged. Any others?
Had died.
Had died.
Had died. Good.
That's all.
Had
Had taken.
legally removed.
Have taken Hollywood.
Okay, had legally removed. Okay. And the one that you said just now, had even gotten.
And have taken.
Had taken as well. Okay. Turn, had taken. Had removed, had wrong. Okay, had taken right here. Yes. And this one, no, it has a contraction. Had turned. Apostrophe D and then the verb in past participle, that is the had. Okay, well, so as you can see, okay, here we have a lot of past perfect tenses, okay, and well, when do we use past perfect? We're gonna see that, okay, in the next part. But well, first of all, tell me, which of these questions, okay, what are the number of the paragraphs in the questions? I need to erase this, but I'm sure that all of you got or found or underlined all these ones. Okay, so we say here that in these ones, okay, we have read the interview with the man who discovered. Okay, so we have this, there are 2 extra questions that you don't need to do. Okay, did you know where you're looking at Titanic when you saw the first pieces of debris? How did the discovery of Titanic in 1985, etc.? Okay, so which one would be for paragraph 1? What letter talks about paragraph 1? What is the question for paragraph 1?
I think it's letter B, teacher.
Yes, that's correct. I agree with you. That would be letter E, letter B. That's number 1. Okay. And for number 2, which one is the question for number 2?
Letter A.
I agree. Letter A, that would be number 2. And number 3, remember that there are 2 extra ones that we are not going to use. Letter D, yes, that's correct. Letter D would be number 3. So that means that C and E won't be selected. Good. Well, we have some questions about the reading here. Okay, so we say we're not going to answer them. Right now, I would like to explain when to use the past perfect. Okay, so let's go back to this one. And well, we have the past perfect is normally used when we talk about an event that took place before another. That is 2 actions, but happening at different time. Okay, so if you take a look at, for example, here, okay, we have the first action is the play started and we arrived, okay? What happened first? Well, the plane started, okay? And the play, I mean, I'm talking about the theater, okay? When you go to the theater, okay, you go to the, to see a play, and probably I arrived after it began. So the two actions happen in the past, okay? So my sentence would be here, by the time we arrived at the theater, the play had begun. So what happened first? The play began. So my first action is always in, okay, in, all right. The first action is in past perfect, okay? And by the time we arrived, okay, and the second action is in past simple, okay? So yeah, you had here, the play started is my first action. Well, I say started here and I said begun here, but it's basically the same. Sorry for not using the same verb. And arrived would be my second action. We have this expression that is typical for past perfect. By the time, it's very similar to when. So we say when we arrived at the theater, the play had begun. So it's one action happened before the other one. By the time is always connected to the second action in past, because we cannot say we arrived at the theater by the time the play had begun, because that doesn't make any sense. Okay, cuando llegamos, la obra ya había empezado. That's the meaning. It's like in Spanish. This is exactly the same. Cuando llegamos, la obra ya había empezado. So that's why we have to say the by or the when, or para cuando llegamos, no? Let's say that this is by the time. This one should be, okay, next to this. We can begin the sentence like this. The play had begun, okay, by the time we arrive at the theater, or the other way around. Is that clear? Okay, so it's two actions in the past happening at different time. There are some more expressions in the when that are used in past perfect. Okay, we mentioned by the time. We can also use by. By is when we talk about a specific time or day or year. Okay, we can say by 6 a.m. by 1984. For example, in my case, by 1985, I had already finished high school. Okay, I had finished. Obviously, you can also use, if we go back to this one, I can use already, like in present perfect, right here. We can say, well, it's right here, already. This is to give more emphasis. If I don't use it, no problem, okay? But it's like, cuando llegamos, ya había empezado la obra. El ya is the already, no? Okay, so it's between the had and the begun. The play had already begun. Okay, if it's negative, let's say that this one is the play hadn't begun yet. That is for negative, hadn't begun, all right? Are there any questions so far in this example? No, is everything clear? Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, okay? Well, so we were talking about the other time expressions. So there are some examples here. By 6 a.m., I hadn't had breakfast yet. Okay, maybe I had breakfast at 9, okay? Or you can say by 8, I hadn't woken up yet. No, in some of your cases, because some of you woke up later, okay? And you could say by. The by, okay, there's something important about by. You cannot use by is not the same as at, okay? Because if I say, for example, here, I woke up at 7, okay? At will be specifically this. Okay, if I say by means 7 or sometime before, no? 6:40, 47, okay, 6:40, okay, or 6:50, okay, but not, the limit is 7. So the by means any time before, and the limit is 7, all right? So if I say by 7, I had already, in my case, no, I had already woken up. So what does that mean? That I didn't wake up at 7. I woke up before 7. I don't know exactly when, but I had already woken up. It can be negative, no? I hadn't woken up yet. Woken up yet. Okay, so already is for affirmative and yet is for negative. And the by, which means sometime before 7, okay? By 7, I don't know you guys, you can say by 8, I hadn't woken up late. Sorry, I hadn't woken up because you woke up at 8:30, no? In my case, yes, because I had a class at 7, and some of you, I think you also did that, right? So that is my expression we use also for the past perfect. Okay, we also use just. She had just arrived. Acababa de llegar. Ya había llegado hacia un momento. Okay, so the just means that the action was done sometime before, a short time before. We also have before. With the past simple, before I arrived, he had kissed the girl he met. So I didn't see the kiss because he had already kissed the girl. I was disappointed because I hadn't seen him. Okay, so there's a reason. Okay. We can say another one with because. Okay, we can say, all right, I couldn't read the note because I had forgotten my glasses, no, and I couldn't see. All right, and so they had finished, so they decided to go to sleep, no, as a consequence. Since they had finished, they decided to do it. All right, is it clear how we form and the expressions we use for past perfect?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. All right. Well, I don't know if you need to see more examples about this. Well, and in the book, okay, we have on page 37, a series of questions that are really confusing. We're going to skip that where it says grammar past perfect. Okay, because it says like we use a past perfect to show that an event, okay, this one probably yes. Underline what happened first. He went 19 years later, so he was okay, perhaps, okay, maybe, or perhaps, okay, we could see. Okay, we could see the next page right here. Okay, this is the one that I was telling you. It says footage of the events in order to actually took place. O sea, la verdad está de locos. Okay, because we will waste a lot of time and it's like, ¿qué pasó primero? ¿Qué no pasó? It's like, okay, maybe you have two actions. One action is I arrived to the bus stop and the bus probably left before I arrived, or probably not. No, but the only thing that you have to understand is that one activity happened before the other one, okay? So when I got to the bus stop, the bus had already left or the bus hadn't left yet. It was still there, okay? So, well, we're going to skip 4 and 5, read the sentences from the interview, underline what happened first. Okay, so well, this one could be, he went back to the Titanic 19 years later to see how it had changed. So what happened first? Went back to the Titanic or everything that was under the water had changed? So what happened first?
The water, right? The water changed.
Exactly. So this one is the one. Very good. Then here we realized we were celebrating at a place where people had died. So what happened first?
People have
The
died.
people have died.
Exactly. It's just like my example right here, okay, which is, okay. No, okay, wait a second, where was? Was thinking the musicians. Pues ¿dónde fue? Okay, well, never mind. All right, and nearby I saw a pair of smaller shoes that had perhaps belonged to a child. First action? It's in the presentation. Okay, what happened first, guys?
The shoes belong to the child, right?
Very good. That's the one. Exactly. Okay. The shoes belong to the child. Mhm, good. So the first action is the one that is in past perfect. Now we're going to choose the correct option. We say we use past perfect to show that an event took place before or after other events. What would be the one?
Before.
Before. Mhm. Okay. When we relate past events in the same order that they actually happened, we have to or we don't have to use the past perfect. What do you think? We have to or we don't have to when we want to say the order of events? Because that would be the past, no? If I give you the order of events is I woke up, then I took a shower, I got dressed, and then I had breakfast. So that is only simple past. So then that means that you don't have to use the past perfect, okay? Okie dokie. Well, I don't know if that was clear, guys. Okay, well, this is too much blah, blah, blah with the, okay, with the grammar. But well, we have here, you have to choose the correct options. Okay, why don't you do this for homework? This exercise 7, I'm going to write it hopefully in the platform, okay? And well, we will be practicing as the past perfect as well, okay? So for example, when we began the class, who hadn't arrived yet? Okay, we can say when I began the class, Paco hadn't arrived yet. Okay, let's say, no? So it's, I began the class first and then Paco arrived. All right, so you have to do exercise 7, guys, and I will send you other exercises in the platform so that you can practice during the weekend. Is that right?
Yes, teacher.
Yes?
teacher.
Okie dokie. Well, so I hope that you have a nice week and we